but in Czech we are called that one of the most atheist countries. So our biggest belief is atheism, or Czech has a special word, Somethingism. It means we believe there is something, but we don't want to put it in any structure. So I first started to ask, what can I do in my family? What can I do in my church? Because then I am presenting experience from the conference with my stories.
I think with older generation, like in our church, we want to take it to another level.
Actually, I think many older people are like cheering for younger ones. We just need to open doors more clearly and to disciple also. It's not only about the space, but about the discipling and learning how to do it. So this is what we really learn from here, the way of practical long-term discipling, having a pipeline for leaders.
Hey, today we have two amazing people from Czechia over here. We have Pastor Martin, founder of New Horizons, and also Stevie from the same organization, someone Pastor Martin has raised. So we are going to have an interesting conversation today. So come, Pastor Martin, tell us a little bit about New Horizons.
Okay, so thank you for the invitation. And New Horizon, New Horizon is a community of leaders from 9 denominations within Czechia and Slovakia.
Right.
And it was based on a common need. So we find out that after the 40 years of freedom in our country, church is still like the same size. So our common need was, hey guys, it seems that we are on the similar level for all over these years. Why don't we seek what we miss or what we need to change or what we need to restructure in our movements? So we gathered 180 people and we traveled for 1 year around the world and we asked 2 questions. How people believe in God and how they do the local church.
Right.
So we traveled to Singapore actually, to Australia, to England. Then we calmed down. And then we had 4 meetings within 6 months with questions. What have we seen about these 2 topics and how this relate to Czech and Slovak Republic, let's say. And we have defined 6 topics.
Okay.
That among all these denominations are missing or underestimating, or we were not aware the importance for local church. We started to work within the 6 teams and started to navigate these topics that are helping all these denominations to thrive and flourish and grow. So actually the simple vision is the New Horizon is for healthier and influential church that brings growth at the end.
Oh, wow. Okay. Stevie, tell us a little bit about your journey. Like, what are you doing in New Horizons? How do you come to do what you're doing?
Yeah. So my journey is really like with Martin because I knew him since I was young and like I took over youth when I was 18. I led it for like 10, 11 years as a youth leader, later on as a youth pastor.
Right.
And Martin was always like mentoring me and guiding me on a journey, like bringing the thoughts around the world to me, and I could grow because of that. And because of him, I also got involved in national ministry. So in the youth department, I was responsible for supporting and educating youth leaders. I still do that. And I had that like kind of vision for local church support, something that will help pastors in their churches to shift their church on a different level. And I let's say started to plan like what we can do, because I visited Australia also, and so I had all of these ideas. And then we went in Singapore with Martin as well, and in England, and there we sat down and we saw like our visions are like really similar. And but I just like the fact that he was like 3 steps ahead of me. So I joined him in a New Horizons, and I hope to see the same change in a Czech church because we have same dream.
Oh, awesome. I know Czechia and Singapore is like two totally different parts of the planet.
Yes.
You flew many hours to be here, fight
Yes.
through jet lag. Thank you for coming. But what would you say is culturally the differences? Because every time we talk about church, every church is within a local culture.
Yes.
So when we talk about, let's say, hey, let's bring a youth revival, or let's implement some of the principles we are learning in, let's say, GenerationS, Strong Church, it still has to be contextualized to the culture a little
Yeah,
bit.
very much.
So can you describe to us a little bit of what culture is like, Czech culture is like, so that we can kind of understand, your point of view, where you guys are coming from?
So first, we have no sea. We are surrounded by German, Poland, Slovakia, and Austria. We have 4 seasons. I know it's not relating into the culture, but
We have
Czechia,
snow.
Yeah.
and we have snow in winter. You can't imagine how it is. Yeah. So actually, we are a beautiful country. Great nature, just little sun comparing Singapore. But nice people, very nice people. But you ask something different. I know. So cultural differences, there are a lot of them. So when I just start with the religion one, there are many religions present here.
Right.
But in Czech, we are called that one of the most atheist countries. So our biggest belief is atheism. We don't believe in nothing. Or today we call it agnosticism.
Yes, agnosticism.
Or Czech has a special word, somethingism. Somethingism. It means we believe there is something, but we don't want to put it in any structure. We want to have a freedom to follow some kind of belief that is very personal,
Right.
but no organization, no meetings on Sunday give us freedom. So that's like a big difference comparing Singapore, that the main belief it's somethingism,
Yes.
and we don't like structures to be part of,
Right.
because of the past.
Yeah.
In the past, people like 400 years under some rule, so we don't like to be part of organizations, which is tricky for the church. If you
Yes.
call it organization, you want people to sign up or be part of. This is something really different from your culture. Just
Right.
one thing. Stevie,
Okay.
what would you add?
I could speak more about, maybe generally, but especially about youth, as
Right.
I work with them. So being second time in Singapore, I could observe some differences. And I think the one which is really big, we can see Singaporean and Asian culture is a lot about performance. That the kids, when they go to school, to college, to university, they always have to have best marks and stuff. And I can see that also in church, everybody is so keen to do their best. It's nothing like that in Czech. Czech people are all about just having chill time,
Peace.
no stress. They don't have much drive to have best job or anything. They just need a job where they are not stressed. They don't need best money. They don't need to grow in their jobs. And it's same, very similar in church. They want their the peace, and so they don't go to universities. And most parents wouldn't force them in the school and stuff. So and this peace also brings another problem, that because they don't have this goal in their lives, they're really easily going to drugs. We have the biggest consumption of beer in the world in Czech Republic. So we drink for one person it's something about 150 liters per year.
And even the beer is cheaper than water.
Yeah.
If you want to save,
I was going to ask.
you drink beer. Yeah.
They did.
That's crazy.
Yeah, we actually have a law that says that one non-alcoholic drink has to be cheaper in restaurants, because beer used to be cheaper than water. So they had to change that in the law. Yeah. And so this is something we have to think about a lot when we think how to build the church.
Right.
Because
Definitely.
if we give young people just opportunities,
Yes.
they don't care. If we give them community where they can chill, have a relationship, because they are very relational, they will use that Yeah. The other thing with that culture difference is because of history, the Czech people don't respect authorities. Like when we came here, I remember like people asked me what I do. I told them that I'm pastor, and they asked me if they should call me Pastor Stevie, and they spoke with such a respect. I was like, no, just call me Stevie. Like nobody,
It's nothing changed.
nobody cares that you are pastor or president. Like because Czechs don't respect authorities, so
Right.
you have to build relationship with young people, with older people,
Yes.
in order to lead them. And I'm sure you have to do that as well. But
Yeah, definitely.
we don't have that. When you are authority, it's more the people will question you, and they will think you will always do something suspicious because you're authority.
Yeah, I mean, I can see there's quite a few differences, but also some things are similar, that we are also very relational as people.
Yes. Yeah.
Like, I mean, and not just culturally, but as church, Christians are supposed to be relational.
Yes.
Like, if you're talking about discipleship, winning young people, it all comes through relationship. Like, if somebody goes up on stage and we say, "This is the bishop," to the 13 years old, he's like, "What's a bishop? I don't even know." So it is really the relationships that
Yeah.
win people over. And so I also just wanted to ask, because you guys have known GenerationS for a little bit more than a year now. And
Yeah.
I know in Czech culture, sometimes the thing is when something great is presented to them, they look at it and they go, "Praise God." But they also go, let me ask you a few more questions. Let me clarify a little bit more. So how has the whole journey of that been in the past 1 year of you guys trying to implement some of these things in your church? Is there a lot of questions people have that you have to kind of answer, or how has it been?
Yeah, so the first time is we are suspicious to things that are coming from outside. So especially when they are coming from different culture, like Asian culture. So it was even my first question when I was told, "Hey Martin, you need to come to Heart of God Church, you love
Right.
young people." So my first question in my head was, what good could come from Singapore, So it's a biblical question, but
Yeah,
I
biblical
doubt you
question.
don't.
He would ask you that question for any country, so nothing like personal.
You compromise me. But yeah, so first of all, we rather not share like we are bringing Singaporean wisdom, but we are contextualizing things that we keen for years
Yes.
with the working with young generation.
Yeah.
And the best way always is to start with yourself. So
Right.
what I first started to ask for me was like, what can I do in my family? What can I do in my church? Because then I am presenting experience from the conference with my stories, which is always helpful.
Yes.
And that's why I like as well that you are presenting on the stage like France and Germany and Poland, because we really need to understand that it's a kingdom thing,
Yes.
not the cultural thing.
Yeah.
So you asked me what has happened. So I came home and shared with my family, which helped me to have my son here as well.
Right.
And we find out that we can see some small changes, like my daughter started to bring her friends, kids, Sunday services, and it was so easy. Then I asked my boys, like my sons, why don't we minister to other that I am traveling all around the Czech alone,
Yeah.
and it just got to my mind, you can come with me,
Yeah.
you can preach with me, you can pray over people with me.
Yes.
Why didn't we done it in the past? And they replied, because you haven't asked. So they very easily said, yes, please, come on.
Yeah.
So I started to travel, which was some example for a couple of churches as well. Like, wow, you want your son to preach as well? And in a couple of topics, they were better than me, which I was proud
Proud father.
and shocked a little bit as well. And then I, like, second thing, I ask young people, like teenagers in the church, why don't you preach on Sunday with me as well?
Right.
And all of them said, no. Yes. So we practiced
Yes.
how to preach several times, and like 80% of them preached during the last year on Sunday, and the older generation was so supportive. Like,
Yeah.
because their approach, how to see God and how to express the biblical principles, it's slightly different.
Yeah.
But it's fresh.
Yes.
It's actually very fresh. So these were some pieces I tried in my family, in my church, and then when I shared the principles from Heart of God, and the people started the suspicious thoughts,
Right.
I could bring the story that I've already started to
Yes.
do it in my family, in my church. So it was helping
Yeah.
for promoting these thoughts.
Right. So it's almost like they needed to see a little bit of evidence, like proof. Does it really work?
Yeah.
And then
you know,
from there,
in fact, everyone, even in Czech, wants to see young people flourish and be spiritual.
Yeah.
But we really learn some slight differences, which we see here, and we need to sell it
Yes.
well into our culture.
Yeah, and I think that's so wise because it's a biblical thing, right? The
Yeah.
Bible says a good man leaves an inheritance to his
Yeah.
children's children, at least 2 generations down. So people do want young people to be successful. It's just they are not sure how to do it.
How to do it, yes.
And sometimes I know pastors come to our pastors' conference, and when we share with them, it's really easy. Just tap the youth on the shoulder and say, "You can do it. You can play the drums in service. You can be a photographer." The pastors go, "No, it must be more complicated than that. What is the revelation?" But no, it's really simple. And I love it that you make it so simple, but also did it in your own family, in your own church. So then people can start to connect the dots. Like, this is the theory, the book, all of that, but this is real. This real testimony. And it can match together.
And Stevie is doing it in his church for a couple of last years as well. So
Yeah, even before Generations, our heart was like always for young people because we did have that generation gap. And there was me, 18 years old,
Right.
and then nobody until 30 years.
Whew.
Like nobody.
Okay.
And so for us, it's now when I'm 30 and we can see those. So we have every generation now until the young kids. So it was on my heart, like to get them involved, to give them room. And I can say that it's really about speaking with older generation about like their lives.
Right.
Because nobody gave them room. So it's not easy to explain them that they should give room now to
Yes.
the next generation.
Yes.
And it happened in our church, in our youth, and we could see so many like young kids saved, and it was great. What really Generations brought for me, it's giving them more authority. So it gave me the thought that I could find new youth leader, but
Right.
somebody who's like not just one of the leaders, but who is like let's say new youth pastor in our church, and take like over the authority. So I found somebody like who's 22,
Right.
and then this person is making a new team from kids that are like 15, 16, 17, and they are like decision makers now in the youth.
Wow.
And the old team is just stepping away and is there just to consult and
Yes.
support and help the new leader. So we give them like also this like you say vote, veto,
Yes.
authority, like everything.
Yeah.
I can see it's amazing. Like I can say literally like compared to them, I did really bad job like in the past years. It's just seeing the fresh things, but it's also about that. Like I rejoice from that.
also, like the new leader is the one who was last year here on a conference, right?
Yeah. The Christina, she
Okay.
came last year to Singapore,
Right.
and now she's taking over the youth. And it's amazing because I just send her some thoughts from the conference, and she was like, "I know." I was there, like she has it in her heart, in her mind, and she just implements it also.
Yeah,
like,
So good.
Yeah.
So I think what I'm really hearing is a lot of the older generation, the good thing is that they are welcoming the young generation.
Yes.
That they are supporting, they are saying, go, you can do it. And I think with leadership that you guys are very secure, and like Stevie, you would say, they can do better than I can.
Yeah.
You know, it's not saying, oh, I'm the best, I'm the man of God, and they are the kids. But no, you let them rise up, you let them do it.
I think with older generation, like in our church, we want to take it to another level, not just giving the space,
Right.
but really like I have this challenge to like every older person invite somebody home like every 2 weeks, like really care and nurture the next generation, not just give them room and respect them that they are there, but be
Yeah.
their fathers and mothers. I think that's the next step for our church.
Yes, relationship.
Yeah, to have those mothers and fathers. Yeah.
And actually, I think many older people are like cheering for younger ones. We just need to destroy some boundaries, like theological boundaries that we had in our environments for years.
Right.
Just one example, we are waiting for maturity. That was a saying I have heard on many places, waiting for maturity.
Yeah.
But who is really mature, who is really skilled enough or
Yeah.
spiritual enough.
Yeah.
So, but this was some boundaries that we faced for many
Right.
years. And we need to have advocacy or be able to destroy or no, not destroy, but be able to explain.
Yes.
But in fact, many older people really want to cheer on the young ones.
That's
we,
good.
we just need to open doors more clearly and to disciple also. It's not only about the
Yes,
space,
exactly.
but about the discipling
Yeah.
and learning how to do it. So this is what we really learn from here, the way of practical long-term discipling,
Yes.
having a pipeline
Yeah.
for the leaders. So it's not only about making space.
Yes.
It's about the whole process
Yes.
behind it.
Yeah, because making space is something we can do in the short term. That's a change we can see immediately. But discipleship, that's the one that will take years and
Yeah.
years. Like Martin would have been discipling Stevie for so many years. Then now you can be a leader in your own right. And it's the same for all the young people. I mean, all of us from Heart of God Church, when we grew up in church, the many years of discipleship, encouragement, affirmation, like what you said, give us feedback, how do we improve?
Yeah, the
and
feedback
that's
thing.
how you get it.
So important. Yeah.
Yeah. And I know for you guys, it is not just implementing at your church level or in your family, but you have gone to like the next level to start some first steps of implementing it at the national level. So maybe you can share a little bit about that.
Whew, yeah, that's a big thing also because every denomination has their own pace
Yes.
and topics. But on the other hand, every denomination wants to survive, wants to flourish. So
Yeah.
there always is a matter of how do we work with younger generation.
Yes.
So almost every denomination has some youth department also. But really what's happening here is bringing a new wave of understanding how to
Right.
really work in youth departments and beyond. So for example, this year, a bishop or superintendent from Slovakia is here with us,
Right.
which is the best advocacy then to the whole movement.
Yes.
So we are like introducing these 6 topics. So for example, the one of this generation to the denomination, and then we are seeking like what are the next steps. So
Right.
so the Slovakia bishop decided, I want to see it. Some of them are like, give us the book.
Right.
So
right.
different denominations have different pace
Yeah.
how they are introduced within these 6 topics.
Right.
So some of them are faster in learning, accepting, developing. Some of them are more suspicious or like waiting how it will go in reality.
Right.
But yeah, it's a nice challenge. But in fact, like we agreed with
Yes.
all denominations, these 6 topics are crucial.
Right.
So that is helping us, and I am always remembering them. So do you still agree that what we have found is crucial for you?
Yes.
And almost everyone, they say yes.
Ah.
It's just a matter of pace,
Right.
agenda, and pace. Yeah, pace is probably
Yeah.
most important.
Yes. And I know good news, the book is coming out, the GenerationS book.
Finally, we work hard for this.
Yes. So I know you say autumn, but there's no autumn in Singapore. So we are looking forward.
Okay.
Anytime we are ready for the book to come. So I think it's incredible that you guys are going at it, not just from the personal level down to the church and even now to the national level. And yeah, I think this is just, I can't believe all this happened in just 1 year. So, I think looking forward is a very exciting journey ahead. I hope we will see many more people from Czechia in Singapore, in Heart of God Church. Yeah, that they can also kind of,
And we hope we will see more Heart of God people in Czech Republic also one day.
Very much.
One day.
Because as it comes to the national level, there
Right.
always need to be some strategy, like short term, middle term,
Yes.
long term. So to be inspired here is great, but we need to resources. That's
Right.
why the book took place and videos, maybe podcasts.
Yeah.
But still, we need to flourish the topic in the Czech Republic also. So we need to make some strategic for next couple of years to make it really happen. So we would love to have Heart of God in Czech Republic also.
Yeah.
One day.
One day. Yeah. It sounds good. So thank you so much for taking the time to share with us. I think that so many things that people can learn from this, whether it's about culture, it's about taking the first step, basic implementation, but also the wisdom, how to navigate it in your church, in your culture. Hopefully we'll see each other more often, whether in Singapore or in Czech Republic.